Great day. I'm Marshawn Crystal, and this is WAJ Jackson News, and here are today's top stories. The city of Jackson continues to move forward with work using 1% tax dollars. Bids are being advertised for a $4 million contract for spot repair work on roads slated for paving. At the last city council meeting, officials approved measures needed to move forward with work on West County Line Road and a bridge replacement on Country Club Drive. Now here's Mayor Tony T. Yarber to tell us about what the city is doing regarding potholes.
Hey, great day, Jackson, Mississippi. I know that many of you have been asking and wondering when in the world are things going to start happening with these streets. Well, we're excited to announce an interim project called the Pothole Blitz that we put in place to make sure that many of the issues that you've been facing riding around Jackson streets, that we're putting an interim patch on them until we can get a lot of other things moving. We've got 17 streets that we've already outlined, 10 streets that we're going to be using some federal funds for. So we're talking about upwards of about 30 streets, but in the meantime, we want to attend to a lot of the things that we've all been struggling with, and that's these potholes. So behind us, you see a pothole patching machine. You see men who are out as a part of the crews that we started beefing up to go by ward in order to see that many of these issues are being dealt with. So don't get frustrated. Give us as much of your patience as you possibly can, and we're going to see that this project, which is going to take us anywhere from 15 to 20 years, is dealt with. But we're doing it, it's started, and we're excited about it.
The city's 1% tax dollars is of concern to all Jackson residents. And today we invited Ms. Lacey Reddix, Infrastructure Master Plan Management Coordinator, to discuss in detail the projects that have been completed or ongoing. How you doing, Ms. Reddix?
I'm doing pretty well. How are
Glad. I'm doing fantastic, and I thank you for asking, and thank you for once again being on the show. I don't have to tell you, Ms. Reddix, how important you are to the citizens of Jackson, being the position that you hold, quite frankly. I think everywhere I go in this city, and you as well, I'm sure as soon as they know that you're employed by the city, the question that comes up is, when are we going to get the streets fixed, right? So I know you're here today to talk about giving updates on the infrastructure master plan, talking about which streets are currently being repaired right now. So we'll allow you to speak on that at your leisure.
Okay. Well, first, I'm pretty sure people have already started seeing cranes around Hanging Moss Bridge. Hanging Moss Bridge is now under construction. As of yesterday, City Council approved of design of Country Club Bridge as well as Ready McStreet Bridge construction. We're starting on construction of Eastover Waterline project. We've also completed evaluations for Mega Rivers Boulevard and Riverside Drive. State Street has already started geotech work, so you should see people working or starting to work on State Street as well as West County Line Road, doing right-of-way acquisition for West County Line Road. So those projects are ongoing. We've completed the utility cut contract, so residents should have seen crews out in their precincts fixing utility cuts. We also have our neighborhood street resurfacing project starting up. And I think the first 17 streets have already been advertised. You can also see those 17 streets on our website. Again, those are not the total amount of streets that we're going to be doing. We're going to be resurfacing streets throughout the spring and summer. We're starting in Ward 4, we'll be going to Ward 5, then Ward 6, then Ward 7, then Ward 1, 2, and 3. Outside of the street resurfacing project, we're also doing a paving, patching term bid for Wards 1 and 2, then Wards 3, 4, and 5, and then Wards 6 and 7. And that will be, that's being advertised right now. There's a pre-bid meeting for that work on May 19th. We're also doing 10 CBG streets, so that's Community Development Block Grant streets, and that's being advertised right now as well. And then we'll be doing a major street resurfacing project to cover Gallatin, Ridgewood, Briarwood, Northside Drive, McRaven, and Raymond Road.
Awesome, awesome. And I did hear you say that right now we're currently in the process of repairing streets in Ward 4. And you mentioned those 17 streets, and certainly would not labor you with rattling off those 17 streets, but we're going to provide those, while we're providing those in our graphics. But we certainly want the citizens to know, as you've indicated, that certainly this is just the first phase of the project, and certainly as well as the viewers, I'm sure, are appreciative that you go on ward by ward and making sure we're addressing the needs in every ward, quite frankly, throughout the city of Jackson, because it is important to educate the public on the fact that, because how misrepresentation of the facts is prevalent a lot of times in our communities, and people are led to believe that Jackson's only fixing 17 streets.
Yeah, and that's
But
not the
that's
case.
not the case, and so I'm glad you cleared that up. And the other thing that I would like for you to talk a bit about, because I know it's something in what we're doing currently as well, and certainly at least a temporary fix to some of our problems, is this pothole blitz. Talk a bit about that.
So this is an initiative, I think the mayor did one in 2014. We are basically going out, our in-house crews as well as contractors are trying to address as many potholes around the city as possible. It's an initiative to go and resurface as many streets as we can, and also publicize where that work is being done. And again, for more updates, I think we'll be coordinating with our COPS meetings and our neighborhood association meetings, but also on the website. I think we should be using the website to update where crews will be on any given day, and I think we said that before. We also have a capital projects website too that kind of highlights all the projects that the city is doing, and you can visit that by going to the City of Jackson website and then going to the open data portal.
And that website is www.jacksonms.gov.
Yes.
And we do encourage the viewers to, as we often do on the show, to utilize their website, because it is now interactive. It is open data. It has a lot of great information. It's easy to use. And in speaking with that, one of the things that our viewers can do is enroll or register for our 311 program. And as you know, you correct me if I'm wrong, they can certainly just dial 311 from their cell phone, and it will walk them through the process of getting registered with 311. And 311 is a tool to report potholes. Is that right?
Yes, and that's kind of what we're using as a basis for our pothole patching term bid that's being advertised right now. We're looking at the 311 data and then calls that have come in from the City Council or from our commission board for the 1%.
And with that, and I want to come back to the commission, but with that 311 piece and reporting potholes in people's communities, respective communities that is, there's a pothole machine that we have now.
Yes.
And talk a bit about that. Are we getting another one?
Yes.
Yeah, talk about that. I know they want to hear that quite frankly.
So we did purchase a pothole patching machine with our infrastructure maintenance crew, for our infrastructure maintenance crews, and we also purchased another pothole patching machine with 1% sales tax funds, and the estimated time of arrival for that pothole patching machine is June 1st. So
Okay.
we should have two working throughout the city or after June 1st.
Fantastic. And going back to the commission, because there is a lot of angst and frustration about how slow the process moves sometimes in terms of getting these streets repaired. We do know that some of our delays have been weather related, and I think the citizens understand that it's very difficult, if not impossible, to pave roads in winter, in the wintertime, and as difficult doing it in the rain. So we've gone through those seasonal changes over the last 3 or 4 months, and so that's caused delays. But one of the other delays is, and not to be critical of them, but it was put in place by the state legislature, is this commission. And now I think it's important for the viewers to know how often this commission meets and how important the commission is in order to move these projects forward.
So the commission meets once a month. Usually it's the first Wednesday of every month at 2 p.m. And the commission is set to approve of each of the projects. And they ask critical questions, and I believe the questions that they ask are questions that residents would want to know the answers to as well. But there is information that needs to be presented to them in order for us to get projects approved. So what we're doing as a department is making sure that we meet the demands of the commission board so that we can get projects approved as soon as possible. But again, we cannot move forward until projects are approved by the commission.
And I want to reiterate that. So before any projects can move forward, it has to be authorized by the commission. Not just the mayor, not just the council, but this state-sanctioned commission. Is that right?
Yes.
So I think it's important to make sure that the viewers and the citizens of Jackson, most importantly, are aware of that, because those are the challenges that we have in trying to get the work done. I don't want anybody to think that there's any dragging their feet. People are derelict in their duties. It's just a series of processes that have to be certainly gone through in order to get the work done. But that being said, we're there now. The fact that we're repairing streets, those 17 we mentioned, it's certainly, I'm sure, music to people's ears, and they're just anxious to see what those streets look like, right?
Yes.
So I know Ward 4 is smiling right now, and the rest of them shall be happy too, because how does that move? So give us a indicator of how fast you think you'll move through Ward 4 before you go to the next ward. And we're not going to hold you to a date, but how fast that process probably moves.
I don't want to necessarily say right now, but it should be within a couple weeks that you can go through a series of 17 streets. And that's just to mill and overlay those streets again. It's not doing major reconstruction. And there might be a delay if there is major reconstruction needed on a particular street. But I would assume that we could do a given ward within 2 weeks, given that weather is cooperating with our construction crews.
Right, and there are many variables. I know that would dictate that, and like I say, didn't want to hold you to a date, but I think it's important for the viewers to know that, you know, it is a reasonable time frame that we should be getting to their wards and certainly, you know, see progress in their wards. So I think that's important, and it's also important that, you know, as you mentioned earlier, that the citizens stay plugged in to the website so they can see the progress that's going on in the city of Jackson. And so one last thing before we let you go, there are a couple of bridges. You mentioned one, the Hanging Moth Bridge, and then the one I get a lot of questions about because I live in South Jackson is the one on McDowell Road Extension. I believe that is, or is it Robinson Road Extension?
Yeah, so Robinson Road was
yeah,
the
exactly
one that
right. Exactly right. How is that coming along?
So again, Hanging Moss Bridge is already under construction. We were able to get that under construction faster because it was already a 1% program project, and we also already had the designs for that project. Robinson Road will need to go through design first before we can actually start construction. And so that's going to take a little bit more time. I think the timeline that was given before by our engineering manager was 9 months. But as updates for that project come along, I think we'll be communicating that through the city council meetings as well as online.
I think that would certainly be beneficial and helpful to the citizens to be, especially in the South Jackson area, to be apprised of how that changes. One of the last things I'll leave with you is making a recommendation to get the crews to go out and reassess the detour of that particular roadway, right? Because we've gotten a lot of complaints on that, so we might want to just take a second look, and I want to say that in front of the viewers that we are concentrating on making that as painless as possible. So the detour, I was getting some complaints just moving around in South Jackson about how it's taxing the citizens because they don't quite know how to maneuver around it. Obviously, because it was a main thoroughfare for such a long time, and still is, and so that has inconvenienced a lot of people. But look, this has been a great session. Lacey, I've told you this before, we will definitely be bringing you back, if nobody else, but you are always welcome on WAJ News, and we're going to get you back in as these updates come along. But keep on doing what you're doing, making the city look good, and we appreciate you for your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Residents of the City of Jackson can report concerns to the Constituent Services Action Line by dialing 311. Those who dial 311 will speak with a representative who will complete the report and issue a tracking number that allows residents to monitor the progress of the report. When using your mobile device and dialing 311 does not work, the alternative is to dial 601-960-1111. And as always, you can visit the city's website by logging on to www.jacksonms.gov to make a report and track the progress of the report.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The City of Jackson's Neighbors First is officially underway. For the next few months, residents can apply to purchase city-owned abandoned property on their street at a minimal cost. For the first 180 days, the options to purchase is only extended to qualified homeowners who live adjacent to the properties. Then the option is extended to neighborhood associations or other stakeholders within the neighborhood or community. After the 180 days expire, the program will open citywide. The City of Jackson is welcoming new businesses. A new Save-A-Lot is open on McDowell Road in South Jackson, and Motor Cars of Jackson cut the ribbon on a location on Interstate 55. The Jackson Fire Department recently unveiled a new sign for Fire Station Number 10. That station is located on Woodrow Wilson Avenue, and it also serves as a fire museum. The new sign was donated by the Jackson Medical Mall Foundation. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
AmeriCorps strengthens communities and develops leaders through community service. Are you ready to make a difference? AmeriCorps allows you to use your energy and talents to help others while earning money and gaining job skills. If you are age 18 or older, AmeriCorps is waiting for you.
Welcome back to WAJ News. We now have in the studio with us today Commander Herman Horton, Director of Jackson Police Academy here in the city of Jackson. He's here to discuss the PALS basketball program. Welcome again, Commander. Thank you for being back on our show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
We're excited about it. I know you're doing some great things on there. I had to pause there for a minute because there's so many wonderful things going on in Jackson Police Department. Let me start the show out by commending you and the entire police department under the leadership of Chief Lee Vance on the efforts that you all do to make us safe each and every day. I know y'all can't hear that enough, but we really appreciate what you do. And certainly in America, times are very turbulent and throughout America, not just here in Jackson. So we appreciate what you do. That being said, one of the things that it certainly appears to most of us who live here in the city is there's so many challenges that our youth are facing each and every day.
Yes.
So it's always good to know of programs that can get them out of the fray or certainly keep them out of mischief. And so I know you're here to talk about this awesome PAL program, which is the Police Athletic League basketball program. It's been around, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's about 13 years now, right?
Yes, sir. It's been around, well, sir, it's been around since 2007. And we started it after Deputy Chief Wade, at the time Sergeant Wade, over the Police Athletic League, got it incorporated with the command, with the training staff at the academy. And it's been very successful. They've won 2 city championships.
Awesome.
The first one being in 2009, and the last one was in 2013. And we've had great success, as I previously mentioned, because a lot of the young men that we have in the program, between the age of 8 and 17, they are repeating participants. And a lot of them have gone on to participate in programs in college, not just basketball, but as well as football. And we look forward to making sure that each year we make the announcement that we have in this program offered throughout the entire city of Jackson, as well as any surrounding city that's willing to have their children participate in this program. The only cost is $20 for the application fee. I know there are a lot of other programs out there that cost an absorbent amount of money. However, ours is $20, and it's registration through the City of Jackson Parks and Recreation, and they get the application from the Jackson Police Training Academy on St. Charles.
Awesome. And I imagine they can find more information out on our city website. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We have that published out there on the City of Jackson website.
Well, awesome. And so we're going to encourage viewers who are interested in getting their youth involved in this very rich and I always tell them one of the most positive programs that we got going on in the city of Jackson, because as you indicated, there are some other programs out there, but I don't know of any programs that have such a positive aura around it, being that it is headed up by Jackson's finest with the police department. So again, I tip my hat to you, and if I heard you correctly, this is a youth program, and you all serve roughly how many youth do y'all serve on an annual basis? In the winter, we have a winter league and we have a summer league. The winter league targets ages 8 to 14. The summer league targets ages 8 to 17. In the winter league, we average about 35, 40 kids. In the summertime, it's roughly about 70. And because we have 5 to 6 teams during each league, and the main thing that we look at is not just getting these kids to play basketball. Any program can do that. We're looking at mentoring these kids prior to them putting the basketball in their hand, because we hope that these young men and would want to be able to become one day a Jackson police officer. Sure. Because we take them in the classroom, we mentor them before they go into practice, because we want them to understand the importance that basketball is not just one of the most integral parts of the program. It's just a stepping stone towards making these young men understand that we're there to support them, not just get them out there running up and down the basketball court. Because as police officers, you get to see firsthand a lot of these kids look up to you as a father figure. Whether they have a father in their life or not, they look at the police officer as a father figure, because they're with them 2 to 3 times out of that week, and they get to, and they, in a sense, they grow on you, so to speak. Sure. Well, that's awesome, and just hearing that powerful combination of doing and participating in a sport that they love. Yes, sir. With a combination of having a mentor there with them throughout the process, teaching them certain life skills and what it means to be a responsible adult. I know with all of that, since that's such a positive situation and environment, I imagine, suffice to say, it's there's a lot of demand for it. I imagine you might serve that number that you said, but I'm sure there's some that still want to get in, right?
Yes, so we have a cutoff, and unfortunately, we really try to recruit as many volunteers as we can, because the more volunteers we have, the more teams we can have. But unfortunately, we have to have it cut off at around 70, because we want to make sure that we're able to effectively get the program going during that time period. And the program registration is going on now, and the registration ends on the 12th, next Thursday. And like I said before, they can pick up a registration, pick up an application from the training academy, or call, and they have an email. We can email that application to them as long as they bring back the application along with a $20 money order or cashier's check, along with a photo ID of the child that they want to have in the program, and just a copy of their birth certificate.
Okay, awesome. And so with that, very nominal fee. That's awesome. That,
Yes, sir.
you know, they can afford, and I'm sure that that's done by design, because we want as many youth
sir.
to participate as possible, and we don't want finances to be a barrier. So kudos again for you all making it affordable to our local youth. And I think you may have mentioned it, but I wanted you to state again, how long is the program? How long does it last?
Yes, sir. The program, the registration, like I said, I mentioned before, it ends on the 12th, but the actual practices, we already have a few of them underway right now, but the season starts June and it runs through August. So they roughly have about 3 months
awesome.
that we're with them, and they practice twice a week, but they have games on Friday or either on Saturday for an hour.
I wanted to place emphasis on that because I thought I was correct that this program basically covers the entire summer.
Yes, sir.
While they're out of school, so they have a positive environment to be in throughout the summer months. So that's awesome to hear that. And again, one more time on the application process, would say it one more time because I know it's important.
Yes, sir. They can call us, and if they haven't, those that have an email address that are not able to come by the training academy, 3000 St. Charles Street, they can call us at 601-960-1378 and give us their email address. We can email them the form. If they're able to come by the training academy, they can pick the application up, complete it, and return that application with a $20 money order or cashier's check, along with a copy of that person's, of that individual's birth certificate, as well as a photo ID, and just have information regarding who their healthcare provider is. And that's all we ask of them to provide for us.
Well, that's an awesome program, and I appreciate you being here today to talk a bit about that. I know the viewers can appreciate a program like that, and we're encouraging them to participate in the program. And let me transition before we let you go. You know, when you wear that uniform, it's just like when you're out in public, right? You might be here to talk about one thing, but you know, we always say, since you're here,
yes, sir.
Since people want to know about how they can help in the efforts with the Jackson Police Department and getting involved. I know it's one particular program that I'd like for you to speak on just a bit and encourage viewers to participate in it, and it's our Tips 411 program. Just talk a bit about that and how they can get involved in the citizen in getting involved in this program, how helpful a tool it is to fighting crime in the city of Jackson.
Sir, I can without reservation say that Tips 411 has been a great asset to the Jackson Police Department, especially our narcotics unit, because they've been very successful in making numerous arrests. And one of the things that is part of that is making anonymous tips without the person revealing who they are. And the officers, the detectives, they act on those tips. And once they go out, do their investigation, and I would say, without exaggeration, about 90% to 90 to 95% successful, based on the information that they gather. But they also can use Tip 411 as a connection tool through social media, because our department, with the help of our public information officer, she uploads information constantly about things that are going on with the Jackson Police Department. And also with Tips 411, it helps to alert the public about things that are going on in the city of Jackson and the Jackson Police Department. So you have those three. You can provide information to the department about what's going on next door to you, down the street, in your general community, as well as receive information about what's going on within the Jackson Police Department. And you can also connect with us on Facebook through our public information office.
And I want to key in on one thing before we go, Commander. The key word there is anonymously.
Yes, sir.
So they can do it in pure secrecy. And we know that people's certainly affairs that they are handling should be in confidence. and this is one way to do it. And I know they appreciate the opportunity to be able to participate, because in the past, as you know, when people have made a complaint, a lot of times the police come to the complainer's house.
Yes, sir.
And that puts the fear of God in everybody. And I certainly appreciate this particular program. And again, if I'm not mistaken, Tips 411 can be used by just simply texting to the number 847-411.
Yes,
and then
sir.
they can get into the system, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll be running that again throughout this program. But thanks again, Commander, for all that you do. We're excited about this Police Athletic League and certainly that basketball program you'll be doing across the summer. And certainly we'll be bringing you back to give us some updates on the program, how well it's doing, okay?
Yes, sir, I sure will. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here again.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tony Arbor.
And I'm Jackson Police Chief Lee Vance.
Here in the city of Jackson, we recognize that you're our #1 crime-fighting resource. So we're providing you with a tool to help us respond to criminal activity in a timely manner.
Tip 411 allows residents to text or submit crime tips. Your name is not important, your information is. Officers will receive your messages and react in real time.
My #1 priority is your safety. This tool helps us work together to make Jackson a safer place.
Welcome back to WAJ News. The Jackson Fire Department is accepting registration for the Kids Academy. 2 sessions of the academy will be held June 13th through to June 24th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Children learn about fire safety and participate in fun activities. The academy is free and open to the public. For more information, call 601-960-1399. The Department of Public Works Pothole Patrol continues to make daily rounds to address problems on city streets. Now the public can get a list of the streets getting repaired each day. Just visit the city website at www.jacksonms.gov to find out if your street is on the list. Residents are encouraged to call 311 to report a pothole. Now let's turn our attention to Dr. Timothy Quinn with Healthy Jackson.
Thanks, Marshawn. Everybody's asking about that Zika virus. What is it? It's creating a lot of fear, but their fear is, significant, because the Zika virus is a mosquito-borne virus where if you get bit by a certain mosquito, you can contract the Zika virus. Now, here's the deal. The mosquito that carries the Zika virus currently is only found mainly in the tropical areas, like in the Caribbean and other areas, not this area of Mississippi. So there's a good chance that you won't get the Zika virus unless you travel to those areas. Now, there have been some cases, and it's still under study, can the Zika virus be transmitted through sexual contact? Right now, the CDC is saying that there's a good chance that it can, so that's still under research. But in the meantime, what you want to look out for is if you travel to those areas, you want to be aware that you could contract the Zika virus if you're bit by a mosquito. So you want to try to limit your exposure to mosquitoes as much as possible, such as using the insect repellent, maybe not being out during the evening time when the mosquitoes are most prevalent in the area. And if you are someone that is thinking about getting pregnant or pregnant, I'd probably avoid travel to those parts of the world, while everything is, in the process of being developed as far as the information. Because the #1 consequence if you contract the Zika virus and you're pregnant is your child could be born with something called microcephaly, which is a small head, which can have, great consequences on that child's life. So the Zika virus is serious. The good news is the mosquito that carries the Zika virus is not in our area, so it's going to be hard to contract the Zika virus unless you have contact with someone that's traveled to the Caribbean areas where the mosquito is more prevalent, or if you travel yourself. So let's keep that in mind, and let's be safe and free from the Zika virus. On the behalf of the City of Jackson, we thank you for allowing us to come into your homes and provide you with this good health information.
Thanks, Dr. Quinn. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of WAJ We Are Jackson News. From everyone here, thank you for watching WAJ News. I'm Marshawn Chrysler. Good day, Jackson.